There it is.
Yeah, I've hit my head on it 4 times. Thanks, man.
Straight out the bedpan. How is it? Yeah. Lights out. Lights out. Little spicy meatball right out the bedpan. Wolf of Fantasy Sports, DFS Wolfpack. NFL Week 6 is here. I am looking at Draftkings player pricing. Now, the prices didn't drop for these players till super late. Normally, it's Sunday night. I stay up. I do my first look. I get all my player pool going of who I like in the matchups I want to look into to do my research throughout the week. We didn't have that. So, I believe those dropped on Tuesday, the pricing. And here we are, so I did all my research throughout the week. I'm going to go over pretty much my player pool, and I condensed it down to like top 5 through 10 at each position. Some positions are deeper than others. So I'm just going to break this down, man. Just give you my thoughts on the slate leading up to kickoff. So this isn't just like, Monday first look. This is me doing my research, me telling you who I'm going to put my money behind. So I do have a couple builds with Lamar Jackson, highest priced quarterback. I have a few because people are off of him. They don't see him with the rushing attempts. So I want to have some of them this week in my lineups. And this is like mass multi-entry. This is like maybe my 20 max. I put them in 1 or 2 in my 20 max. Because I have a 3K play on the slate that allows me to fit Lamar Jackson. And even if you just have like a one-off of him, like his rushing attempt was 2, but prior to that, 7, 9, 16, 7. So Lamar Jackson, I don't think too many people are going to roll with him. Probably the lowest ownership you'll get on him in quite a while. So looking at Rodgers, I think he's a contrarian play versus Tampa. I don't think too many people are want to pay up for Rodgers. I think they'll just pay the extra $200 for Lamar if they go that route. Big Ben at home, good spot. I like some of his weapons. You pair him up with Juju, Claypool. I'm going to have him in at least one of my 20 max. And I think he's a viable play here. I think he can have 3-4 touchdowns in the air, maybe dump one off to Connor. Looking at Cam Newton, 6,500. I don't know where the ownership's going to come in on him. I would assume around like maybe 7 to 11%. But he's definitely viable. You can run him out there by himself or pair him with Edelman. But versus Denver, I'm not sure if he's ever beaten Denver before. So I believe from what I remember, he hasn't beaten Denver. So maybe this is something, this is something that he has in like circled on his calendar. Like he wants to play Denver. He wants to beat Denver because he played them in the Super Bowl and he took that L. So I think Cam Newton coming off of that COVID, that rest, Cam Newton be ready to ball out. He's been rushing a lot. He could rush around the goal line. Multiple ways for him to score here and put up points. So I like Cam Newton. Looking at Stafford at 6,300 versus Jacksonville, he's going to be another quarterback that I'm real high on this week. I think the air attack, the air raid versus that weak passing defense at Jacksonville with Galladay, Hawkinson. I'm going to pair them two, or I'm going to have Stafford with Galladay. I'm definitely rolling that out. I don't know if that's my main lineup yet. I do 2 main lineups a week. I'm not sure if that's going to be my main where I spread it out across all contests. But it's up there on the list. And it's going to be popular. So I'm not sure if I want to make that my main. If it depends on the ownership, on the projections. Sunday morning, I'll make my final decisions. I'm looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Well, actually, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins here versus Atlanta. Now that Julio's there, maybe they can make this a game, keep it a little back and forth, competitive. I like all the weapons on Minnesota, from Cousins, Thielen, Jefferson, Madison. As far as the 2,500 tight end, Irv, you can sprinkle him out there if you want to save some money. But with Burton at 31, I think that's going to take away from the ownership there. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Irv unless you want to play Min and just completely punt that position. But I think I'd rather pay up now that Mo Alley's out for Burton if I'm going to pay down for tight end. I'm going to try to pay up, but if I pay down, that's probably where I'll end up. Now I'm also looking at Fitz. I really like he could get it on the ground. He can get it through the air. Uh, Gaskin, he catches the ball out of the backfield, so he could get it through him. A lot of ways for Fitz to score versus former team. He's played for a lot of teams, so that's really out of the window. Throw that out the window. He's played for a ton of teams, but Fitz could be Fitz magic, could be Fitz tragic, but we've seen a lot of Fitz magic this year. So I like Fitz versus the Jets. The Jets are terrible, but look, this is probably gonna be one of my mains. Is probably gonna be Fitzpatrick. I don't even know if I want to pair him up with anybody. Might just run him out there by himself, or maybe even do like, it's crazy because these quarterbacks, like if you roll out Cousins, you gotta like Madison, right? If you roll out Fitz, you like Gaskin. So do you play these quarterbacks with, or pair them up with a receiver and the running back? Like there's a lot of thought and game theory going into your roster construction, because we all know the good plays. We know Stafford's a good play, Cousins a good play, Fitzpatrick's a good play. But when you're making your single entry lineup, that lineup construction, that's the skill in DFS. So that, all these, everyone that's on YouTube, I love the videos. It keeps me entertained. I find out who the chalk is throughout the week and everything. It helps me with ownership, gauge the ownership throughout the week. But we all know the good plays. Where the skill comes in is when you sit down and you make your 3 entry max lineups, or you make your single entry lineups, and then your cash lineup, and then okay, you do the 150, you do your script. That's where the skills come in this sport, in this game that we play. I call it a sport. We're not playing the game, but we're crunching the numbers. So what I like a lot here is Fitzpatrick. I think he's in a great spot versus the Jets, and I'm not really worried about his ownership. I'll get different elsewhere with my combinations and who I pair him with, or if I run him out by himself, I think that'd be real unique, because you're going to see Fitz with Parker. You're going to see Fitz with maybe Gaskin. You probably see some of that. I think I'll just run him out by himself maybe, because there's a lot of receivers that I like. So looking at Tannehill, I think I'm going to run him out in a few. Out of my 20 max, I'll probably have him in 2. Fitz, I'll probably have him in 3. And then I'm going to get exposure. In my 20 max, I want exposure to Stafford, Cousins, Fitz, Tannehill, Cam, Fig Newton, Big Ben, Lamar, maybe even one Rodgers, 1 or 2. I'm going to have exposure to these top quarterbacks. And then if I'm paying down, I'm not paying for any of these quarterbacks down here. I don't like any of them. Flacco, I probably wouldn't play him if he was 4K. That may be versus Miami, but that's as low as it would go. But 5,100, I don't like that at all. Burrow at 54, nothing down here I want. The lowest I would go is Tannehill, Fitzpatrick, Cousins, Stafford, Newton, Big Ben, Rodgers, Lamar. So I'm going to condense that down. I'll probably be right here around the 6K range for my main lineups. I'll probably have a Stafford and a Fitz, I think, for my top 2. And then Tannehill's right there. But his passing attempts, if this game can stay close, maybe that'll go up. But I see Tennessee with the lead. And Henry only got 19 carries, so last week. I think they did limit him a little bit to save him for the short week. So we're going to running back position. Jones, I won't have that much exposure to. I think if I take someone from Green Bay, it's going to be Adams or Tanyan. Henry, like that a lot versus Houston, 7,300. Price is right. Madison, like that a lot, of course. It's going to be high ownership. I think you'll see a lot of people pivot to Mike Davis off of Henry or Madison. I think they're going to probably take one of the two there and go with Mike Davis. And then skipping all these running backs here, I think Taylor could have a GPP viable option there. I think you could have a piece of him. Ronald Jones at 6K, I do not want to play him. If he was a value play at 4,700, I would give it a run. I don't like him. Montgomery, he should go off here, but the last spot I thought David Montgomery should go off, he didn't, and it hurt me a little bit here. Versus Detroit, I played him week 1, and I wasn't too happy. And versus Atlanta, I think I had some exposure to him. And the 2 spots you think he would go off, he did it. So Tampa, he had a good game, and the Giants. So be careful with Montgomery. I want to have a lot of exposure to him because the price is right for him. But just be careful with him because he could let you down. But it's first Carolina. They are the worst. He should have a great game, and there's no uh, Cohen, so his targets are going up. So if you look at his targets, 8 and 6 in the last two. We're talking Carolina here. Okay, 10 attempts, but I take 10 attempts and 8 targets. Tell me he's getting that, I'm locking him in. So really like Montgomery. I'm gonna have exposure to him. I just don't know how much yet. Myles Gaskin, I like him too. So, and if you want to get different here, some people are gonna take a shot on Swift this week, which I see. You know, maybe GPP, throw him in a $3 or something. Throw him in a 20 max. I really don't like anybody down below. Philip Lindsay, 4,300. No Melvin Gordon. We'll find out Saturday, Sunday about Melvin Gordon. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to play him. Adrian Peterson, I'm not playing him. I'm not playing Freeman versus Washington. Although I do think he's GPP viable. David Johnson, that's very GPP. Give me Gaskin. You know, I'm going to live with Gaskin, Montgomery. I think you could take a GPP flyer on Mixon. He does have upside. He's getting all the work. I'm going to fade Mike Davis and just hope that his run comes to an end versus Chicago. I would much rather play Madison or Henry over Davis. And just, if they got high ownership, so be it. I'll get different elsewhere. I'll get different with my combination. So I'm looking at wide receiver. I like Adams if I'm paying all the way up. If I got the money, I'm locking him in. The connection with him and Rodgers is real. That they do damage in versus Tampa. I could see them putting in work. Looking at Adam Thielen, I like him a lot. And if you're gonna run it back with Ridley. I think Jones playing only helps Ridley. I'm staying away from Jones. I don't care what he does. Puts up a 40, so be it. I'll lose, win another week. But I'm rolling out a lot more Thielen than these top three wide receivers. I'm rolling Thielen. And then I think if you want to get different, just go with Jefferson to take less than half the ownership. Robinson's definitely viable here versus Carolina. Hopefully the OPRK keeps people off him because he gets targets and he's featured in this offense. Foles throws the ball to Robinson. In Carolina, great matchup. Looking at Evans, you got Godwin back, so I'm probably not looking to target Evans here. I don't want no piece of that Tampa offense. Looking at Fuller, I think his price is too high for me to take him. I don't want Julio. Looking at Juju, I'm looking at Marquise Brown if I do a stack with Lamar Jackson, but I like Juju. 6,600. He's due for a breakout game. I could see it happening here with all the attention on Claypool. Maybe the game planning, he can get loose. Versus Cleveland, that could work. Looking at Parker, if you're pairing him up with Fitz, I get it. I like him. Definitely viable. Definitely seeing a lot of targets. Galladay, 6,200. He'll have some ownership. People are going to pair him up with Stafford. That's cool. You want to get different, take Marv Jones, but he hasn't really done anything yet to suggest that you should play him in DFS this season. Crowder versus Miami, definitely viable, 6,100. Jefferson, I like him too. Pair him up with Cousins. You can play Jefferson and Thielen. Maybe fade Madison. See what that does in GPP. Looking at McLaurin. AJ Brown, you got to love the price at 5,600. I'm definitely playing him over McLaurin. Claypool, 5,200 with Deontay out. I was already looking at him with Deontay in if he was playing. Claypool, 5,200. I think the kid's probably the best receiver on the team. Maybe he hasn't peaked or gotten to his full potential yet, but he just looks like in the long run he'll be the bigger name out of Juju Smith-Schuster and out of, or maybe they all help each other. Maybe Claypool helped Juju break out, and then vice versa. You got two dynamic receivers. You know, both of them can eat. So I definitely see Claypool, Juju being two of my favorite players. T.Y. Hilton at home versus Cincinnati. This could be the breakout game. That could definitely be it. Down here, I think Higgins is viable. Scantling for GPP if you want to go there. Fulgham, I wouldn't touch him. Nobody I really like down here except for if you go into the 3K range. I'm looking at, well, you could look at Cole. You could look at some Jacksonville receivers if you want to. But down here, I'm looking at Smith, 3K play, 3,000 versus Miami, 11 targets, 9 targets. I'm looking at that. So for my other plays, hit me up direct at DFS Wolfpack at Wolf of Fantasy Sports. But for tight end, Mark Andrews, Gesicki, Hawkinson, Smith, Tanyan, all in consideration. I'm off of Hurst and Ingram, looking at Ebron, and without Mo Alley, Burton at 3,100, and Irv Smith, I'll probably just fade. Pay up for the little bit more for Trey Burton without Mo Alley. I think that's a better play. And then defenses, real quick. I think Ravens are viable. Patriots, okay. Steelers versus Cleveland. Steelers put up a big number, and they got Baker Mayfield throwing the ball more than he should be. Run first team. I think that could lead to turnovers. And they're going to have Baker looking real bad. So, Steelers at home, I like that a lot. Washington football team versus Danny Dimes. Guy ain't throwing dimes. Guy's throwing duds. So, I don't think he's scored a touchdown in quite a couple weeks. So, definitely Washington. Put pressure on that quarterback. Get them turnovers. I think Washington's in play. Miami, 2,900. Okay. I can see that. Maybe work it out. Maybe 8-9 points. Somewhere in there, probably. I did like the Vikings, but now Julio's in play. So maybe he's a decoy. I don't know. But 2,300, I was looking at the Vikings. And that's it. So low as I'm going to go is the Vikings. But I'm going to have limited exposure on them. Dolphins are okay. I like Washington. I do like the Steelers for a little bit more money. And I'll probably play the Steelers. Steelers, Ravens, Patriots if I'm paying up. Good luck. Hit me up. DFS Wolfpack at Wolf Fantasy Sports 1.